All right. We are in Algebra 2. Today's date is the 9th of March, 2023. We're on the Promethean board today because we have some kids that should be on Zoom. We're on difference of squares. Again, this is kind of like a shortcutty day. I'm showing you a cool shortcut that will be useful if you ever do multiplication. I can show you the use in a sec too. Ready, set.
I like to talk to more to YouTube than you do to us.
Honestly? All right. Well, Solomon, I'm going to specifically talk to you and still have to write it before. Solomon, when you multiply things that look like this, A plus B and A minus B, something interesting will happen.
Well, I just got a shout out.
Yes. Something interesting will happen, yes. These have a name, and I've taught you that name in Algebra 1, probably reviewed it in geometry, or we're doing it again in Algebra 2. What are these called? I mean, it will turn into a difference of squares. That's not what they currently are right now.
Greatest.
Oh, there, I know.
Oh.
I know what they're called, but it's not.
Vocab word.
I'm trying to think.
You know.
I know this, but
Don't tell me.
It was on the tip of my tongue. I was about to say, those are conjugates. I knew that.
I did not know that.
Me neither.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for your honesty, Ripley. And that is a shout out to YouTube about Ripley, by the way. So.
Yo, I knew it.
The only thing, the definition of a conjugate just means they're the same thing. A, B, B. The only difference is the sign in the middle. It switches. It can do minus times a positive or positive times a negative. It doesn't matter the order. They just have to have different signs in between them. That's a conjugate.
what if they have the same sign? What are they called?
If they're the same sign, then it's a square. So for example, if I had A plus B times A plus B, like that, Yesenia?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same thing as saying there's two copies of that A plus B, and that's called a square. But we're not talking about the square today. It's good to know, but I'm going to just cross it off and say, if you want to know it, cool.
You could have just said
Yeah, sure, if you want, it's up to you. I'll tell you a fun story while Anatoly's writing down the square notes. The shortcut for the square is actually how I made my son go to sleep.
What?
Yeah, because of the pattern, the shortcut. I would always, so I would have, well, you'll have to visualize this, but I would have Riley in my arms trying to rock him to sleep. And this is what I would whisper in his ear. I'd say, square the first, double the product, square the last, square the first, double the product. Man, it put him out. It works so well. When you guys, if you guys have kids and you need your kid to go to sleep, difference of squares formula. It works. It just works. It just does.
how do you know it's on everyone?
I would just fall asleep.
I would fall asleep too.
Yeah, right? It's magical. Anyway, we're talking about conjugates today because if I start with conjugates, it turns into a difference of squares, and it's a very powerful tool for shortcuts and multiplication and a bunch of other things that I probably don't even know. It's usually how you start teaching quadratics. So let's do it. Let's go ahead and multiply. You guys know how to multiply polynomials. You usually make this area model.
Oh,
I just go.
Remember these? Yeah.
yeah.
They fill you with joy. Let's see those smiles.
No.
Those grimaces. I don't know.
Everyone just start from.
We have an A plus B, but on the other side, it's an A, not plus, but minus B.
Or is that just like
Yeah, this is important. This is the derivation of the difference of squares.
The what? What does that mean?
It's deriving. It's showing you the history. Where does this thing come from? It comes from just multiplying conjugates.
wait, what?
I'm going to multiply those polynomials, and I'm just making it a very generic. Because here, this is what's going to happen. I'm eventually going to do something like this. I'm going to say 7 plus 1 times 7 minus 1. Do you know how to do 8 times 6? It's 42. So I'm going to show you a different way to do it. It's really 49 minus 1. Do you know how I know that? Because of the shortcut. I will eventually do problems like this for you guys. You'll eventually have problems that's like 23 times 17. And then you can do it like that. 397 or 393. Anyone else? 393. Did you get that? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, see, she and I, we know the shortcut.
I just did some mental math, and yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, I'll show you, I promise, by the end of the lesson, you will know how to do that problem in your head.
I don't know.
And it comes from this. Ready? A times A. How many copies? We got 2 copies. It's A to the power of.
A squared.
Good. What about A times B? Just squish them together.
AB.
AB.
No.
So then.
Oh, careful. A negative times a positive now.
Negative
Negative AB. And then finally,
Squared.
Negative.
negative B squared. Very nice.
How did that? Never mind.
Is your mind blown? How does that relate to that? There's no relationship there.
Yeah,
Can
those
you
are
give me
AB.
a
It will, like, it'll be this cool little, like, epiphany at the end. That's kind of cool and useful.
If that
I don't like
epiphany
that
doesn't hit me, I'll be bad.
Then I'll hit you with something else. Don't worry. All right, so check it out. Did you know if you have 1 and you subtract 1, you get 0? Did you know if you have AB and you subtract AB, you get 0? Those are gone. Those diagonals cancel out. That's the power of a conjugate. A conjugate is a useful tool to get rid of these middle terms.
So that's just A squared minus B squared.
This is equal to, and I'll write up here, Ripley told me A squared minus B squared. Exactly.
Where'd C go? I feel like you're leaving him out. Like, I feel like he's
I
A and B are playing.
there are cool tricks for trinomials, but they're much less useful and less common. I can talk about them, but it makes the class a lot harder than it already is.
C is crying right now in the alphabet.
Nah, he's partying.
Check this out. Are you guys ready? I'm gonna go ahead and show you this right now. I'm gonna show you it. Did you know that 23 is 20 plus 3? No one has the epiphany yet?
What?
Not yet, not yet.
Oh,
Did you know that
no.
20 minus 3 is the same thing as 17?
Oh my god.
Did you know that that number and that number are the same?
No.
Did you know that that number and that number are the same?
I do not.
Did you know what the difference is between those 2 blue things?
What's negative?
Oh, they're conjugates of each other. One's a positive, one's a negative. And guess what you do? The shortcut to this is 20 squared. Look, you square the first,
Minus.
you subtract the second squared. Oh, I got my answer wrong, didn't I? That's okay. 20 squared. Did you know that 2 times 2 is 4?
No.
20 squared is 400.
Oh.
400 minus 9.
I thought it was from
What?
Yeah, I said 393. I was bad. My math. I for some reason I thought that 10 minus 9 is 3. 10 minus 1 is,
Makes sense.
or 10 minus 9 is 1. So.
See, what if you had something that doesn't work out that nicely, like 23 times 695.
So again, it does work on some problems and not all problems, but a lot of problems it does work on. If you know your perfect squares really well, it works on the majority of problems. The problem with the problem that
I'm
you
screwed.
it's just like you have a pocket full of tricks and that trick doesn't work, keep looking for a new trick and then eventually you'll find a trick that works.
I have like six in my pockets, don't go back.
Yeah, I mean, that metaphor is really apt. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to another slide once Anatoly gives us the all clear.
Do we I have a question?
Yeah.
I want us to write that like thingy down, like
No, that's fine. Can I show you another thing while we stall and wait for Anatoly to finish notes? I want to do a humongous problem that I can do, and you guys can do in your heads probably even faster than I can once you get the hang of it. Ready? Set. 99 times 101. That's kind of a big problem. But did you know that 99 is 100 minus 1? Did you know that 101 is 100 plus 1? Did you know that those are conjugates?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that 100 squared is 10,000?
I thought it was 1,000. To be honest.
Minus 1. Do you know what the answer to 99 times 101 is?
Is it? Is it 9?
Wait, 1,900.
That's 29.
That's 29.
I just had a stroke trying to put words out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's a shortcut. It's a cool little multiplication shortcut. Jose, back us up. Josue, back us up. Sorry. Yeah? Let's go. All right.
Do that again.
Let's go. All right. Can we move on to some harder problems? Anton, all clear?
Let's go.
That's right. No, no, no. I was stalling. All right. Ready, set. Example 1. About that time to do example 1. Yep.
You're like 13 minutes left.
After this, we'll just jump into homework. You'll finish your homework all in time. Ready, set.
Not really, but whatever.
Let's do 16x squared minus
That's so messed up.
81.
How?
Wait, what are we doing?
I'm trying to go backwards.
Backwards.
This whole unit is based on factoring, right? How do I go backwards?
I don't know how you go backwards.
Well, do you notice how that's a square, that's a square, and that's a square?
Oh, wait, let me guess. You're gonna go-
16 is a square, 81 is a square, x is literally squared. This is a difference of squares. Do you know why it's a difference? Minus sign means difference. There's a square right there, there's a square right there with a difference in between. This is a difference of squares, thus the name of the lesson today. We were talking about a difference of squares. And here's how I do this problem. I take the square root of that and the square root of that. I'm gonna write it underneath it. Did you know that the square root of 16 is 4? Did you know that the square root of x squared is x? Did you know that the square root of 81 is 9? Good. Can you give me the answer? It's gonna be something multiplied by something. And do you know what I even can tell you this? I'll give you all this hint. One of them is gonna be a plus. One of them is gonna be a minus.
I'm guessing
X
9 is
plus 9.
Wow, you guys are so smart.
We take a bow,
Wait.
and we're done.
Wait.
And you can go backwards too if you don't trust me. Positive 9 times negative 9 is the negative 81. 4x times 4x is 16x squared. In the middle terms, you're like, but Mr. Sindel, there should be a something x in the middle. Where'd your x term go? I have an x squared, a constant. Conjugates always cancel out the middle term. There are no middle terms here.
Wouldn't the square cancel out the root? Like, wouldn't they just cancel?
Yeah, because you're thinking of this, right? So when you have the x squared and then the square root.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This turns into just x. That's why I wrote an x right here.
Wait, but then why'd you still square root 16?
Because it's a square.
But the root just.
If you square, just check this out. Ready? 4 times 9. Do you know that this is the same thing as the square root of 4 times the square root of 9? You don't believe me? Don't believe me? Check this out. 4 times 9 is.
Yeah.
4 times 9 is.
36.
Thank you. And you know what the square root of 36 is?
6.
This is 6. Do you know what the square root of 4 is?
Oh.
Square root of 9 is 3. Did you know 2 times 3 is 6? You can separate the insides of a square root. So if I have, this is important, you don't need to write this down. This is for you, Solomon, another shout out for YouTube. 16x squared, if I square root that, that's the same thing as the square root of 16 times the square root of x squared. Yeah. All right.
You'll make me.
How many square roots you have? Like 20.
200.
I have a little over 200 now.
What do you want?
All right.
How many views do you get per video?
One more example, one more and I'll be done. I just want to do one quick one, okay? Example 2. It'll go fast. Example 2. Not example 3. I know. I'm trying
Don't go too fast, and I'll get to you.
to.
Slash.
Are you measuring my handwriting?
Choose you. 361. Choose another one. 529. Minus 529. Someone shout out a letter.
9.
You fail. You fail. C and
Wow, I see how it is.
R. Okay, there's your problem. Ready?
That's why I'd rather go with Vidor.
Oh.
He's sleeping. Child abuse?
Did you say something?
No. Did you hear something?
I couldn't hear you.
Oh, because I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. That's right. So Just like before, let's do this, yeah?
Intimidation tactics too scary.
Well, you drew on it with the doodle.
19. Swear. 19.
All right, ready?
23.
19 what?
X squared.
C. Good.
No, C.
Okay, one of them's gonna be a plus,
The other one's 23.
the other one's gonna be a minus.
20.
23.
3.
Yeah, you got 23. Where did you come from? Oh, there it is. Look at that. Oh, 29. It's 23 squared. It's coming. I run back over here. 23 what? 23 R, because R squared, you undo the square root, or you undo the square with the square root. And there's your final answer.
That's pretty easy. Oh.
All right. And then we have 9 minutes for homework.
Whoa.
Really?
Minutes.
How many
Yes.
questions? Like
7. Sorry, 7 minutes.
How many questions are there?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Now I know.
14. 14 questions. I will post it on Google Classroom for Chloe in just a second.
I'm gonna use that Hulu. These are so
You hate us.
What? I quit.
You don't like it.
I was like, dude, I love it.
I don't believe
You guys
it.
make me smile every day.
14 though? You can cut that in half.
Just because I press
Our
you with
product
the
is the
Hulu.
best.
I'm gonna try and use the Hulu.
I'm nuts.
Wait, isn't that a class you refer if you drive us?
I never pressed you. I just wanted to hear what she had to say.
But you like.
She said she'd rather be in Godoy's.
Yeah, that's like disrespect. Is that on there somewhere? I don't know.
It is. for sure.
Is it? It's gotta be on there.
It's in class C.
Class X.
I think we were doing a lesson and then there was a disruption of class when that happened.
You actually give
Disruptive behavior is literally one of the disruptive behavior. It can be in parentheses, lunch, assembly, etc.
We need nose joints.
It doesn't specify.
I know.
It says lunch assembly.
Give her one. Give her a pearl.
Do it. Make an example.
Make an example of her.
All right, you guys can finish this basically all right now.
Yeah, we need nose joints.
All right, raise your hand if you did take your own notes. Who took their own notes? Oh, you guys are my favorites. Five, is that right?
Oh,
5.
I guess it was just one. 8 plus 1.
Raíz cuadrada, raíz cuadrada, raíz cuadrada de la poder 2, raíz de 1, 1. Así, su respuesta siempre, cada vez, tienes más, menos, más 1, menos 1.
Who is not?
Sí, pero.
Who's not? Oh,
Dude, doesn't make sense.
I thought I got it.
Este necesitas
I couldn't find
cada
two.
por 3.
How do you even like show your work? I thought it was.
R a la poder 2 también. R a la poder 2 necesitas tu variable.
No. What do you mean that's not vector?
And then.
Yeah, that's something I should have talked about.
Yeah.
There's no formula for a sum of squares. There's only a formula for a difference of squares. So if I throw that curveball at the sum of squares, you could do it if you deal with imaginary numbers. There is an answer, but
What do you
All
mean?
these are pluses.
It's adding.
not yet. Maybe later.
Wait,
Oh,
so,
that was me.
wait, so also
So,
7 is
Technically, you
not.
can't do 2 on 2,
No.
right?
On it's 7.
Wait, what?
No,
Oh yeah, 7. I tricked you again. Yeah, so 7 is not factorable.
Yeah, but it has an answer.
Yeah, what's up with that?
7?
Bro.
No, it doesn't.
You did
Yeah,
it.
I'll be back, you guys say that.
Look at all.
What is 7?
It is 2, 16.
Oh, I can factor out a 2. That's all you can do.
Oh, fine.
That
What are
You're
you doing?
was cruel. I designed that a while ago, but that makes me laugh. Like that was pretty evil. I'm totally doing that on the quiz.
I'm so confused.
Tell me a problem to do and I'll do it for you.
Wait, wait, can you do
That's what
plus
we
and
got.
stuff?
Can you what?
Dude, they're all negatives, or they're all minuses, but 7 and 2.
Yeah, so 7, you can't go any further. All you can do is factor out 2 and you're done. Give me a problem to do.
But you can also do
32.
Yeah, do 3. Do 3.
Yeah.
I don't have the problem in front of me. What's up, Anatoly? Oh yeah, I'll combine a second. 3r squared minus 12. Are you guys ready? Ready? First up is always to factor out the greatest common factor. Divide by 3, divide by 3. So I now have 3 times r squared minus 4. Ah, I never taught you how to factor the greatest common factor.
No, that's not what I meant.
I'm pretty sure
Can you go in here too?
No.
symmetry.
And then finally, that looks familiar. That looks like the difference of squares to me. Square root, and I'm gonna have 3r plus 2, r minus 2. I can fight any dragon you throw at me.
Any dragon?
Yeah, all of those are dragons. You got 12, 14 dragons there.
Technically,
I wanna do 4 through 14.
Let's do it. Number 4.
I can do like one more.
4n squared minus 64. 4n squared minus 64. First step is always to factor out the
4.
greatest common factor, which is 4. So we got n squared minus 16. Did you know that 16 is a perfect square?
Yes, it is.
Watch this, ready? There's that 4. I know one of them is gonna be a plus. I know one of them is gonna be minus. Yesenia is already saying n, and an n, and a 4, and a 4. Bada bing, bada boom.
On a pop, on a book.
Right? Bounce it, flip it, twist it. You want another one? I got 2 minutes.
5 and 6 and 7.
Let's see number 5.
Yeah, do
25k squared minus
25k squared minus 4. What's the greatest common factor? Oh, there isn't one because 25 and 4 are coprime. Jump into square roots. Square root. Square root. 5k and 2. One of them's a plus. One of them's a minus. What's that? You want to see a number 6?
9 squared.
A number 7?
I know 7. Yeah, go to 7.
32
That is like a square.
32p squared.
No.
Ready, set, go. Factor out the greatest common factor. 2. That's going to be 2 times the quantity of 16p squared plus 9. Done.
And that's all you can do.
Done. You can't. Once you have a plus sign, you stop.
Your answer.
Wait, so what if for 2, what do you be?
5. That's the answer. Yeah.
For 2, what do you be?
Bye, Stell.
Okay, good.
You didn't check my credit.
When there's a plus sign, that's a stop sign. You can't do. There's no formulas for some squares.
You know what?
To
already
tarea
know my
para la que se clase 5.
You know why I got confused about? Because I was in here before lunch.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably why.
Did you guys grab a multiplication chart? Yeah, thank you.
No other
She's doing it. She's still on.
It sounds like fun. Yeah.
Yo, are you guys staying here again?
Yeah.
Study for that midterm. Study. Sounds good.
Is the library open?
Because Beth is trapped in the city, no? I don't know who else is running the library.
Yeah. Open.
I don't know where I should be.
I did not either, Charles.
I like this one.
As long as no one needs you. Okay. Has anybody seen Israel?
Yeah,
He's here.
he should be in the
Okay.
I'll be making this bit over here. Yes.
And thank you for help with that Google Doc again.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Felt bad when Eddie emailed us.
Well-
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
Those gloves are great.
yeah.
The Kinko's.
I just got introduced to them like a few weeks ago, and at the same time, my gloves got like destroyed. They're soft. These are strong. They have
My
to be
dad
waterproof.
wears those.
They have to
be waterproof.
Like that. Um, I
You do it.
can watch freshman, yeah, sure.
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
I just walked up here. All the rest of my classes, with the noise class. So I don't know who's watching.
I
Is
think
Jeannie not here?
Jeannie is here, but her door is shut.
Oh, because she's normally watching
I
English
think
classes.
she has a meeting.
Oh.
Okay, well, you guys are fine with me, if that's
So
okay.
we can't. What are all our other people doing?
All right, I've been over there.
Okay, well, all our class is here.
I'll be over there in a second.
Guys, it's just coming.
We're gonna treat it probably like a study hall unless Mr. Brown's put stuff up. So I'm gonna bring some things to grade. We're gonna head back over to Mr. Brown's room. And I'm gonna unlock
Oh my gosh, is that an all black Rubik's Cube?
It is a Rubik's Cube that needs to be heated up so that you can see what color it is. So if you have cold hands or it's
He
cold
solved
out,
it,
then
and
it's
I
gonna be
was,
really
I
hard to
was
solve.
trying to see the colors. Can I take this with me to Mr. Brown's class?
Sure, yeah. You have to give it back to me. Let's
No, I'm just
go.
gonna-
People, we're out here.
Alright, well, first.
I'm gonna turn off Zoom too. Actually, I can just